Flint's Fire Chief Ray Barton now terminated after more than 25 years in the department. Barton confirmed this to our Mid-MichiganNow reporter Alexis Ware. Alexis joins us now in the studio. Do we know why he was terminated?
Dave, we do not as of right now. Now, we did reach out to the city for that answer, though, but have not heard back. We do know that Flint's firefighter union made a suggestion to Mayor Neeley about Barton's employment and him serving chief for the past 6 years.
Chief Barton, he started out doing great things, and then at the end, it kind of petered out, and the union stressed interest into Mayor Neeley that it may be time to find a different party to lead the fire department into a positive manner.
Thursday, it was announced that former Flint Fire Chief Ray Barton was terminated from his position. Barton declined to talk following the decision, but other community figures are speaking up on his behalf.
From what I know of Chief Barton, he's always attended the council meetings. He's kept me abreast on issues. He's been honest. He's been straightforward. He didn't bite his tongue. This is a decision that's been made. The timing is highly suspicious. It seemed highly retaliatory for a person making a decision on an incident of the Pulaski Street fire and the loss of life of children.
Flint City Council member Eric Mays says he's worked with former Chief Barton for a number of years, citing the work he's done for the city. Flint's firefighter union president Nicholas Kendrick says he made the suggestion to Mayor Neeley, saying it was time for new leadership.
I think it's great progress for the city to move forward.
I asked Kendrick if the termination had anything to do with the Pulaski fire.
That would have to be another question for the mayor. The union, we felt that Chief Barton didn't have the best interest of the city at hand or the fire department when he went about the way he did it.
I did reach out to Mayor Neeley for a comment, but we did not receive a response back yet. However, the city did release this statement saying, in part, the city of Flint would like to thank Fire Chief Raymond Barton for his decades of service to this community, end quote. The city also announced former Flint Fire Chief Thyron Wiggins will serve as interim chief for the time being, something Councilman Mays says Flint City Council will have to vote on.
There's a 90-day interim period under the charter. The city council must act within that 90-day period, or that could turn into a permanent position. The city council must approve or disapprove of that department head. And so in this high-profile case, I can almost assure you, prior to the ending of the 90-day period, the city council will have a lot to say and will act one way or another.
Attorney Todd Flood, who is representing the family of these two boys who died, he tells me he is gathering the latest information in order to file this lawsuit. One firefighter resigned back in August, and as we reported last night, the second firefighter has also resigned.
The resignation is all part of the internal investigation and operations of the Flint Fire Department and recommendations by the chief, right? So it doesn't have much bearing on my lawsuit.
On May 28th, 2022, the Flint Fire Department was called to the 600 block of West Pulaski for a house fire. At the time, two children, 9-year-old Lamar Mitchell and 12-year-old Zaire Mitchell, were at home. Two firefighters gave the all clear and wrote in their report there was no one at home. 6 minutes after the all clear was given, according to the fire department report, two other firefighters went upstairs and found the two boys alive and breathing. Both boys died days later.
Everyone's hearts should go out to them, and the journey they have to walk through is long and hard.
Flood, who represents the family in this case, says he is doing his due diligence to bring closure for this family.
We want to make sure every T is crossed and I is dotted. So I have experts that have come in, and I'm waiting for their reports. Most of them have given me their opinions.
While no lawsuit will ever bring back Lamar and Zaire, Flood says he wants to do right for these boys.
For me to try to sum up how they're doing, there's no real way to do that with justice. All I'm trying to do is give them mercy.
The old saying goes, there's no place like home. And the saying could also be, there's nothing as expensive as your home. All this month, we're looking at the challenges of housing. Last week, we looked at rent. Tonight, the challenge of making that transition from renter to home buyer right now.
We were beat out 30 plus times on houses with all cash offers.
Sydney Denoyer, like a lot of potential starter home buyers in northern Michigan, has felt the sting of rejection.
Soul crushing, honestly.
Time and time again, offers placed on homes only to be outbid.
It's hard to compete with people who are coming in with a lot more money, that's for sure.
Cash often wins in this real estate market, so to win, you need more of it. But in communities across northern Michigan, if you're young and just starting out in your career, you may not have a lot of cash after paying your current rent.
It is almost impossible to have only one job and pay rent and try to save up to further into our future.
Sydney has pets and a roommate, so she pays $1,900 for her rent. After that, there isn't much left for saving for the future and making the transition from renter to starter home buyer. Sydney's story is not uncommon.
I think for some, they've given up because it's so frustrating.
In the red-hot real estate market of the past couple of years, Julie Rapson, a realtor with Up North Properties, has worked with buyers like Sydney, looking to transition from renter to owner.
Long-term housing really changes people's lives.
But life-changing purchases can be really expensive right now.
They're spending a lot more than what they were 5 years ago, possibly even double in some areas.
And it's not just high-end properties. Even the starter home prices are pricing out a lot of the starter outers.
If you're looking to buy a starter home in the surrounding areas of Traverse City, we'll say, expect to pay $325,000 to $350,000.
Realtors point out around northern Michigan a very low inventory right now of those starter homes for sale for a couple of reasons. First,
starter homes that they once had maybe aren't coming available because they're turning them into, short-term rentals, long-term rentals.
But there's another interesting trend that may be producing a logjam when it comes to housing. And it's not with those just starting out, but rather those at the other end of the home owning spectrum.
People aren't moving, if they could downsize. So say an elderly couple would want to downsize, they have a 5-bedroom, 2-bath home. They're not able to find a space that they would move into, so they're holding on to those bigger homes.
Yara Brown with Housing North explains that creates a ripple effect throughout the market. Downsizers aren't able to sell, so growing families can't buy those bigger homes. Those families are stuck in their starter homes longer, which means they aren't making those homes available for the renters looking to transition. Across the board, at every price point, there's a basic fact.
I would say many people are struggling to find a home that is within their price range throughout the region.
And many say that's a problem, not just for renters or buyers, but rather for an entire community which relies on younger people to drive an economy.
In general, we need them in long-term housing. If we can't get them into housing, people may leave. That affects our economy. We need the workforce. So I think if it can correct itself somewhat, I think it is beneficial to everybody.